I'm on the live. Rolling window. Yep. Still the same. All right, y'all. This is Jamil Salih Amir out of Manning, South Carolina, traveling a little bit. Getting ready to go to the shooting range and do a little bit of shotting. But got my son over here. Y'all see him. He driving. Can you dig it? Always make sure that you are in a position where you know how to use your weapon. I'm an advocate of people having guns, but know who the enemy is and know why you're carrying the gun. So both of us sick right now, but we riding anyway. But we had this real tough topic. I'm sorry, my phone fell. But we were talking about the what were we talking about?
We were having a discussion on the zeitgeist of our people, specifically black people, in this specific day and age. I was just really making an observation more so about how our people have really made no progress from a mental standpoint.
Right.
From the civil rights era.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I'm not making a dig at the intelligence of our people. It's really not an intelligence thing.
Right.
It's more so just about a how do I say it?
Productive?
No. I'm trying to think of a specific word. It's hard because I'm driving.
Okay.
But we're so reluctant to confront the enemy.
Right, the issues, the enemy and
not just confront the enemy, but confront the enemy with the strategy. Because it's like, if you really think about it, the most violent leaders of the civil rights movement were really shunned from the movement overall.
Right.
And they really didn't get the best end of the movement by the time it was on its more successful end, right? Right. But it's like
what I saw with all of that is that there were these warriors out in the street that did all the fighting for black improvement, black upliftment.
Yeah.
And the warriors who were out in the street fighting didn't get the rewards from the fight.
Yeah.
The people who stayed behind and said don't fight, those are the ones that went to college.
Yeah,
those are the ones. Right, they reaped all the rewards.
They not only did they not preach the fight then, but they still won't to this day.
Right, they're not fighters. They fought for their education and for the upliftment of their position in society, but they didn't fight for the overall upliftment of all the people.
Yeah,
that's what your Black Panther parties and stuff were for.
Yeah.
So they didn't fight for none of that. So we're in a position right now where everybody is upset about the DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're thinking that Donald Trump is rewriting history. But what happened with that is that we forced our way into somebody else's reality.
Yeah.
We forced our way into someone else's society. And before desegregation, we had our own schools, we had our own stores, we had our own communities, and we policed those things.
Yeah.
And once we got desegregation, we gave up everything. We gave up everything and went along with whatever white folks were doing.
Yeah.
And now, although we think that we can run away from the reality of life, now we got to start all the way back over.
Yeah.
We're literally starting back over where we left off.
Because nothing's changed. Nothing's really changed. We just put a band-aid over the biggest problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you really think about it, there were white people in that time who weren't racist.
Right.
There were black people who were doing perfectly fine from a financial standpoint.
Right.
But now we're in that exact same position, but we're kind of trying to ignore it.
Right.
And that's not going to end well for us.
Yeah, that's not going to end well
because if you really think about it, in specific areas of the country, it's reaching a boiling point because like if you really look at how people feel about certain things, it's like we really don't feel safe around each other.
Right.
That's kind of crazy. Like
right.
2025, we don't really feel safe around each other. That's a sign of a lack of progress.
Right. And economists predict by the year 2052, black folks will be right back where we started. Poverty.
In terms of what?
In terms of no money. Well, we're not producing industry and what else? It's something else. But we're not in a position where if we were cut loose, we would survive.
Yeah.
So zero growth. Zero growth is where we are. Mm-hmm. But what we have done is we've got confused and think that credit is wealth.
Yeah.
And so because we can go to Amazon and get a $5,000 credit limit or anywhere and get credit
right.
is debt if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So with the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and with a lot of the situations that are going on with Donald Trump, you know, I don't want to see no old person or disabled person lose their benefits over some BS.
Yeah, and
because
that's already happening.
And that's already happening because I'm in the field, and while everybody was playing in the snow, you know, back we were with the Red Cross trying to figure out how people with no place to live was going to make it through the night.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So I mean, I see this stuff every day, and especially in Manning, where we're being excluded from the places where you need to know things to survive. How many black EMS workers do we have?
Yeah.
How many black doctors who don't feel like they got to pretend to be white do we have? How many businesses do we have?
You gotta elaborate on that though, because if you really think about it, we have plenty of black people who are doing great things in great fields, right?
Right.
But it's more so the willingness to start your own thing instead of either working under another blueprint,
right,
or working underneath someone else. And there's nothing wrong with those things.
I'm
not saying that there's anything wrong with that stuff. Right. But it's just like, let's just say that the United States was like, all right, F all the black people, y'all gotta go. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
What would we do?
Right.
As a people, what would we do? Because it's like we're scared. Not all of us, but some of us are scared. A lot of
we're
us
still
are
in a state of suspended animation. That's Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
We trust in the people who
are captors.
Captors. They kept us from the Bible.
Yeah.
And then they rewrote the Bible and gave it to us. And now you got black folks that'll give their life for the Bible the way that it is.
Yeah.
But it's not the right way. And the comprehension of the book is not the right way. And I'm going to stand on that. At the beginning of the book, it says that it was diligently compared and revised.
Yeah.
It was revised. And King James was a homosexual. King James was a rapist. So everything went under that lineage. I mean, I'm just being honest. But my point is, because I was having a conversation with my son, is this. If you watch this show called Lackawanna Blues, it talks about how we helped each other in the community when it was segregation. And the moment things got desegregated, we stopped eating at our restaurants. We stopped frequenting our stores. We went to other people's stores. Mm-hmm. And now we are accustomed to what we perceive as the best of everything. And this is not racist. Mm-hmm. This is just race. This is just where we are.
Just humans.
Just common sense. That's all it is.
If you go to like the small towns, like me and my father from a small town in South Carolina called Manning, right? You were born and raised in King Street as well, so it's the same thing over there.
Right.
If you go
to
these places,
King Street.
If you go to these places and you look around, you'll see a bunch of abandoned buildings.
Right.
With Dollar Generals and Walmarts at every corner.
Right.
These used to be black businesses.
Right.
These used to be black-owned stores,
right.
black-owned barbershops, all type of stuff.
Right.
They're gone
right.
because all of these bigger companies have come in and we've decided that we don't need the smaller stuff anymore.
Right. And
Why is that?
And where does that leave us? That leave us in the hood selling drugs.
With nothing.
We selling drugs, we killing our people, we making a profit, and we bragging about it. 2 drug dealers terrorizing the neighborhood, making a profit, bragging about it. And the rest of the people terrorized and afraid to speak about it. Yeah. Are you opening up a juke joint in your yard and causing noise and confusion? We can't live like that. So in actuality, we don't know how to start businesses. We don't know, many of us, on our own terms. So that's what I see with the Trump administration. The Trump administration is going to cause us to take a look at ourselves, because from the comments that I'm seeing on the internet, it's like we're begging. From the comments that I see on the internet, it's like we say, oh Lord, what we gonna do, Lord? Trump taking back everything, Lord. What we gonna do, Lord? We should already have known what to do. We should already have had a contingency plan. We should already have been ready just in case, but we weren't. And now our grandparents, our parents, none of them are happy with the results of what we have. None of them. So my thing is, in closing, I do have a commentary coming up, the second part of David and his demons. But I wanted to get this out there because Trump just signed, from what I understand, the Freedom of Information Act for the information on Dr. King, the assassination of Dr. King, the assassination of John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy. Along with that, you're going to find out the private life of Dr. King. Although it was a movie out, nobody really talks about it, that he was a womanizer, that he did engage in other nefarious things. And they're trying, that's it right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're trying to break the image of the man, which they're doing a great job with. Because I don't know if you all saw in Atlanta, this Hindu guy with a club had Rosa Parks' head on a woman with a big behind and Martin Luther King behind her like he was having sex with her or she was lap dancing or something. They disrespect everything we do. Did you all see the video of the white man that had the gun at the black woman's head at the gas station? And the black people videotaping black dudes talking, hey man, leave that woman alone. These are gangsters and thugs now. But a white man got the gun to her head, so they ain't going to do what they would do to another black man. They sitting there yelling and videotaping. And ain't put their phone down to call the police. See, this is the true sign of the cowardice that's in us, that they put in us. We're not strong enough to fight against. So what Donald Trump is doing, him and Elon Musk, they're forcing us to look in the mirror. And it's difficult. I know we can't talk about a lot of things because you're black, but you work for a white company. You're black, you got a degree, but you're scared to say, I understand that. We cowards. We're not going to lose everything to gain something we don't know what it is. We don't have faith in ourselves. Everything we do is to pretend to be like someone else. Period. You got anything you want to say before we close?
I mean, we pretty much covered everything that I was personally thinking of at this exact moment. This is really a very overarchingly important topic, but this requires more time to discuss.
Yeah, clear conversation.
Clear conversation.
But
to discuss,
but
more parties as well.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Anybody who is watching this live or anybody who is watching the playback of the footage, if you're interested in talking about this, if you have a different opinion, if you want to elaborate on something that we said, please reach out, because we love having open conversation no matter what your opinion is about who you are. We want to talk about it, because really it's not about pushing an agenda or anything like that. We just need to talk about it. It's very important to understand our position in the world. You understand what I'm saying? No matter how you feel about it, let's talk about it.
Right. So that's what it is, man. This ain't nothing inciting a riot or anything like that. It's just to make us think, just common sense stuff. And I was talking to my son about it, and I said I'll put it on live so we can kind of put the idea out there. So yeah, our great grandparents, a lot of them didn't agree with in Manning alone, there are almost 20 schools, and then we going inside the shooting range. In Manning alone, there's almost 20 schools that were shut down, that were segregated schools. They're all behind the bushes and hidden away from Paxville to Jordan, all of these schools. And I asked people to help us buy one of the schools and the land so that we could make a museum out of it, and even the alumni backed out of it. We don't believe in anything. And as my son was saying, your organizations like your NAACPs and stuff like that, do you know back in the day, they would fight against a radical person? A person who really wanted to make change, they would kick them out.
Cut off their resources.
And they still do that today. They still kick people who want to make change for real. They kick them out. Black Lives Matter, same thing. You don't see them in the communities when another black person gets killed. They come around when there's money to be made. This is where we are. There is a black elite that are doing worse to us than the white folks did. Because they're raping us and we trust them.
And it's really always been that way.
And there's always been a hierarchy. And they're killing us with entertainment. They're killing us with the BS. So that's where we are. Nothing hateful. I can hang around. I got white friends, for real. White associates, for real.
That's like when somebody said they're not homophobic.
I'm not homophobic. I got gay friends, for real.
You know what I mean?
Because I don't bring up none of this stuff when I'm hanging out with my people.
This ain't about hatred for people. It's about growth.
It's about growth.
That's all it's about. It has nothing to do with any specific race or anything like that. We're speaking for our people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everybody who black ain't our people. A lot of people don't think about that.
Right.
There's entire leagues of black people who don't even like us.
Right.
And by us, I mean African American.
They hate it.
Individuals. They don't even like us. So
Facts.
it's like,
matter of fact,
we're just speaking on us in this moment.
As a matter of fact, before we go in, the young disturbed gentleman Henderson that just killed someone in, where was he?
I don't know about this story.
Anyway, I posted it up, but the young black guy, he said he hated his black skin and he wished he was white. You see him in his video throwing up the Heil Hitler sign. And the reason he felt that way is because he said that out of all of his intelligence, out of all of his ability to do things and make things happen, he still looked over. So he wished that he was in the dominant cast. He wished that he was in the dominant group. And he wished that he wasn't black. So he went and videotaped on Kick him going to the school. He killed one Mexican girl and shot another one. And then he killed himself. But all of this is because you feel like you can't rise in your own skin. And we do a great disservice to our children when we make them think they got to be something else in order to be. Yeah. We do a great disservice to them. No diploma is going to change that. No degree, no sorority, no position is going to change what's in the mind. Thank you all for tuning in, man. I hope y'all will pay attention to this and that we will grow up and take control of our feminine nature and not be offended by everything.
Or let's put it like this right here. If you are offended, it would be in your best interest as an individual and our best interest as a people and as a community who encourage open discussion for you to either work through how you feel or talk to us about how you feel. We can talk about it. If we said something and it offended you, we can talk through it. We might be wrong.
Might be wrong.
Might be wrong.
Might be
we
looking
can always
different.
Talk about it.
Right.
And that might change both our perspectives.
Right. And at least we can agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree. We can be better off by the time we finish our conversation.
Right.
So it's just open conversation, you know what I'm saying? And,
right.
and we need to be having conversations like this because people think the earth has changed. The earth has not changed.
Right.
You know, time is moving forward. It's always going to, but we as human beings are still evil.
And what Donald Trump is showing that nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
That's his job.
And because the issues that occurred earlier in history that we feel like is behind us,
still here.
The causes of those issues are still within us as human beings.
Right.
And that's on both sides of the spectrum, whether you're black, white, whatever.
Right.
Those issues are still there. So we have to be working through these things actively. We can't just like this problem isn't a problem that can be solved. We gotta work through it until we die, and then teach the generation after us to also work
on it a little bit more. Right.
We all have to work on it because it's something within us. It's deeper than just what's around us. Like a lot of people, especially people with my skin color, love to feel like it's the system around us that's holding us back from being great. Whole time is really only what that system affected inside of you that is holding you back. Just like you were talking about the guy who felt so tired of feeling like he was always being watched over, even though he had the skills, had the talent to accomplish whatever he wanted to accomplish. There are a lot of people who feel the same way and did whatever they wanted to regardless.
I feel that way, and that's why I'm not totally against signing off on the diversity, equity, and inclusion, because a lot of people got jobs they didn't deserve.
100%.
They got the job because they were gay. They got the job because they were black. They got the job because they knew somebody that knew somebody. Listen. If you worked your way in that job and proved yourself, I'm for you. You deserve that. But if you still walking around here like you better and you're not concerned with the well-being and the welfare of all people, then I got a problem with that. White folks not gonna save the world. Donald Trump not going to save the world. Donald Trump is a known racist, always was, always will be. But I like the man's honesty. The thing about Joe Biden is that dude would look at you and lie to you. He talked about how much he hated crime and all of that, and wrote in that 3-strike bill for mostly black boys. Then his son got caught with the crack and the drugs and the prostitutes and the little girls, and he pardoned them.
He free.
The hypocrisy of it all. And I promise you that Biden, Obama, and Trump will party together in the days to come.
100%.
I promise you that.
And look at this, man. This is how I'm going to close my message. You can't trust a pretty politician.
Right.
Because I feel like it's the job of a politician to tell the truth.
To be a politician.
The truth ain't pretty.
Right.
The truth ain't pretty. So that ties all the way back to what we were speaking on at the beginning of this live right here, is that the most vigilant and ready to fight for the message leaders of the civil rights movement were kicked out and
killed.
What I'm saying?
Set
kicked
up,
out, killed, exiled out of the country.
White or black,
white or black,
white
all
or black.
Type of stuff.
They were killed. They were assassinated.
So we need to be looking at why did that stuff happen back then? Because it's still happening now, and it's going to continue to happen if we don't analyze these issues.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all listening. I know sometimes these things get harsh, and I know sometimes you see them like we're horrible people, but you got to be realistic in what you're seeing and what you know to be true.
We just trying our best.
The Bible is not a book that's supposed to make you feel happy. It's supposed to make you feel miserable. It's supposed to make you think. People didn't want to be around Jesus because he made them feel miserable. Like, oh, here come that Jesus telling us what we ain't and what we is. But most of the people you got talking about the Bible now are telling you that everything you doing is all right.
Yeah.
Everything you doing, you're perfect the way you are, and everything is good. And they talk from the perspective of things that they're not doing, and they talk from the perspective of things that they don't want to be condemned for.
Yeah.
So they justify not everybody, but a majority of these folks. There's no way you 2 or 3 years off of being a demon, and all of a sudden you resurrected to this high-ranking righteous man.
Yeah.
As long as it took you to be a crook, it's going to take that long to uncrook.
Yeah.
Or longer, because it's generational. That's why I tell everybody, if there's a heaven, I don't think I'm going to make it, but I'm fighting hard for the next group to make it, though.
Trying my best.
You dig?
Trying my best.
Thank y'all for tuning in, man. This is the Black Dilemma. Y'all up here talking about what Trump doing and he reversing everything. It should have been, it never should have been in a position it's in. We always should have been trying to do for ourselves. And the minute we were told y'all don't have to do nothing no more, you know that's the same thing they did to the Jews in Germany with Hitler. Hitler told them we'll handle everything. Give us your guns, we'll handle the security. Then Hitler made a problem and made a solution to the problem. And then Hitler killed everybody.
It's the same patterns.
There were 6 million Jews that he killed, but there were also 5 million other groups that he killed too. And he was on his way to killing black people. Y'all don't know that.
He was going to take the whole country.
He was going to take the whole thing.
The whole country.
And you know what his motivation was? America. He admired America and how they killed black folks and didn't feel nothing about it. Read the books.
And if you look at the history, this is the crazy part about it. If you actually look at the history, he was this close. And a lot of people don't even realize, like, he was this close.
He almost had it.
If he had like 2 more years, he might have been finished.
He almost had it.
That's the crazy part about it. And we don't study this stuff. And people get so fidgety about certain stuff like that. Like, they don't want to talk about it because it's evil. But it's like, nah, low key, the evil ones is the ones we should be paying the closest attention to.
You better.
Not as a role model.
You better.
Almost like when they do an autopsy, like,
examine what the problem is.
These issues out, like what happened here.
Right.
When they go through a burned down building to see what started the fire, we have to be looking at these evil suckers just like that.
Just like that.
Fact it's going to happen again. It always happens.
Always going to happen again, just a different way. In closing, life is this: 360 degrees. There's 180 degrees of God, 180 degrees of devil. If you don't learn who the devil is, you ain't gonna never know who God is.
Thanks.
It ain't till we get in trouble that we start calling on God. Long as things are good, we don't know no God. That's just where we are. I don't hate it. I love that God chose me to bring truth. And I thank you all for tuning in, but I will be back on because y'all gonna want to hear this thing about David and his demons. And how long it takes to fix things. Yeah, let's talk about it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Pass this along. Let me tell you something. This is not for anyone in particular. This is for everybody. If you said something about Donald Trump, Glenn Murray, and other people, hey, if I got something to say to y'all, I say it. It ain't no fighting words. It ain't no machismo. It ain't none of that. I call you and say it. I understand why you saying what you saying.
Absolutely.
But I'm saying this because it reaches more people.
100%.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Jamil Salih Zamir and this guy right here,
DJ Lufada, also known as Trill Montclair. I got music out. We doing broadcasts all the time, working on a bunch of different stuff. If you blink, you're gonna miss it. Make sure you tune in. Y'all stay warm. I know it's cold. Your fingers cold. Go ahead, put that jacket on. Tune in to the next Black Dilemma. I'm out of here.
Yep.